In today's Prime Minister's questions, a heated exchange unfolded between the leader of the opposition, Rishi Sunak, and Prime Minister Keir Starmer, as Sunak pressured Starmer over Labour's controversial decision to cut the winter fuel allowance for pensioners.
His own Chancellor just this morning, his MPs may not have been listening to her, his own Chancellor this morning admitted that she would prefer it if this policy didn't even raise any money, Mr. Speaker. Obviously, the government would not have made this decision without an impact analysis. And yesterday, the Energy Minister confirmed that. So I ask, very simply again, why won't he publish the assessment now?
Sunak challenged Starmer directly, asking a pointed question that left the Prime Minister visibly uneasy. Why won't he publish the impact assessment on how many pensioners might be severely affected or even die due to this decision? The Labour leader's response was evasive, sparking further frustration in the chamber.
Mr. Speaker, I remember the days when the Conservative Party used to be concerned about balancing the books. They've left a £22 billion black hole. Responsibility for this decision lies there. The only way to rebuild our country and invest in our public services and make sure everyone is better off is if we clear up their mess and deal with the £22 billion black hole. But, Mr. Speaker, last week we learned that the Shadow Housing Secretary was calling for means testing of winter fuel payments. Now it turns out that the Shadow Paymaster General agrees with her and even boasted about texting his own mother saying she didn't need the payment. Until he apologises for the mess they've created, he's no position to criticise the action that we're taking.
Sunak reminded the chamber that just last week, Labour MPs had been divided over means testing winter fuel payments, with one MP even boasting about texting his mother to tell her she didn't need the payment. This kind of attitude is reflective of Labour's disarray on this issue, Sunak remarked. Despite Starmer's attempts to defend the cuts, the key question remained unanswered. How many pensioners could be at risk? Labour's previous analysis suggested that up to 3,850 elderly people could die as a result of this policy. Sunak asked pointedly, are the numbers in his impact assessment higher or lower than that? Starmer attempted to shift the narrative, insisting that Labour was taking difficult decisions to stabilise the economy and safeguard pensions in the long term.
But we know why he's hiding the impact assessment. The Labour Party's own previous analysis claimed that this policy could cause 3,850 deaths. So are the numbers in his impact assessment higher or lower than that?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we're taking this decision to stabilise the economy. That means we can commit to the triple lock. By committing to the triple lock, we can make sure that payments of state pension are higher, and therefore there's more money in the pocket of pensioners, notwithstanding the tough action that we need to take. But he goes around pretending that everything's fine. That's the argument he tried in the election. And that's why he's sitting there and we are sitting here.
He pointed out that the government was committed to maintaining the triple lock on pensions, which would ensure state pensions continued to rise in line with inflation. Yet, for many watching, it was clear that Starmer had dodged the most critical question. Pensioners across the country are now left in the dark, unsure of what to expect as winter approaches. The opposition leader closed his arguments by highlighting the consequences of Labour's decision, warning that the Prime Minister's refusal to release the assessment only deepened concerns. In other news, the controversy surrounding the winter fuel allowance wasn't the only issue dominating the headlines today. Justice Secretary Shabana Mahmood faced backlash over Labour's early release programme, which saw hundreds of criminals let out of prison early to alleviate overcrowding. Among those released was an 18-year-old convicted of manslaughter in a machete attack and actor Jason Hoganson, who had been jailed for assaulting his former girlfriend. Images of released criminals celebrating outside prisons, even smoking cannabis in front of police officers, enraged the public. Rachel Reeves, Labour's Chancellor, expressed her anger at the scenes but remained focused on criticising the previous Conservative government for its handling of prison expansion. In an interview, Reeves stated, "The previous government left us with an impossible situation. A £22 billion hole in public finances and insufficient prison capacity." While Labour's controversial decisions on prisons and pensions remain hot topics, Reeves confirmed that the winter fuel allowance would still be available to the poorest pensioners, and that Labour was committed to upholding the triple lock for pensions throughout the current Parliament. As we approach the upcoming autumn statement, Labour's budget remains under scrutiny. With a £22 billion gap left by the Conservatives, Reeves will be forced to make difficult cuts, some of which could hit motorists hard. Speculation is rife that Labour may increase fuel duty, which has been frozen since 2022. This move, if confirmed, could severely impact diesel and petrol drivers already facing high costs. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has warned that the budget will include painful decisions. But for pensioners and motorists alike, the reality of those decisions could soon hit home. Conclusion. Labour's refusal to release the impact assessment on the winter fuel allowance cuts raises serious questions about transparency. Pensioners deserve to know the potential consequences of such decisions, especially as the colder months approach. Meanwhile, the ongoing prison overcrowding crisis adds further strain to Labour's agenda. Will Keir Starmer be able to navigate these issues while maintaining public trust? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on the latest British political developments. Thank you for watching.